on, yeah. Never felt that, come on, yeah. When I never felt that, come on, yeah. You gotta get up.
So the same learning goals, we've just now moved on to a different civilization and geographical region. As we've seen before, you should start to pick up that the birthplace of civilization will be river valleys. Here's the Hyanghe and the Shangyang, more commonly known as the Yangtze in Western civilization. It is a large area, but due to the geographical features, there's very little arable land. If you take a look, you can see the deserts to the north, the mountains to the west and the south, the seas, oceans over on the east side. The Yellow River, or the Hyanghe, the Western, when they arrived, they referred to it as the Yellow River due to the large silt content that actually gave it a yellow tone. The Jia dynasty, most likely mythological, but they are credited with the first group to domesticate silk. You take a look at a small silkworm and say, hey, I can make clothes out of that. I would like to have been there for that one. The Shang dynasty, definitely real. Aristocracy, so those in power were the wealthy, and the wealth was based upon land ownership. The warlords were aristocrats, much like later we'll get to feudal Europe and the knights. Social structure, and we're looking at our 6 traits of civilization. Aristocrats on the top, artisans, those are going to be skilled craftsmen, merchants, peasants, and slaves. But again, every time we say slaves, I want to emphasize this is not chattel slavery. Not that there's a good slavery. Oracle bones. Now these are real bones. You write a question to the gods on the bone. You heat it up. They crack, and priests would interpret the meaning of the cracks. There's an actual oracle bone. Now, the Gobi Desert in that region, it has a high content of actual dinosaur bones. Many of these dinosaur bones were used as oracle bones. They, of course, referred to them as dragons. We did lose quite a bit of archaeological finds due to this practice. So their ancestors will be the ones sharing the information with them. Now, ancestor worship does not to be taken literal. They're not actually worshiping those that came before them, but by offering them reverence, since they are already in the next life, they can put in a good word for you or ask questions of the gods. Then the Zhou. Yes, I understand it starts with a Z and an H, but that's pronounced Zhou. The longest of the Chinese dynasties. Now the Shang were the first one who came up with the concept of the mandate of heaven, which justifies their taking control of the empire. Basically that means you have the right to rule based upon the approval of the gods. So when bad things happen, whether that's a drought, floods, invasion, that's showing that the gods, you are no longer hold their favor, and therefore you are justified in overthrowing them and creating your new dynasty. The Tao is the proper way. We will get into Taoism. There's your Zhou Empire. Very feudalistic. So there is our social structure. Silk is the #1 export. So the Chinese are going to be the first to create such large-scale water projects for dams, irrigation, the creation of the iron plow. Patriarchal, the father, the oldest male member is the leader. Filial piety, that's basically the family members have a duty to respect the father, elders, and ancestors. All right, there's our question about knowing some accomplishments of each culture. Here's a large list of ancient Chinese achievements. I mean, you can read it, but everything from paper to gunpowder, wheelbarrow, the hoe, parachutes, matches. Pictographs, picture symbols, actually represent the object. That's the way it began. And then later, ideographs, combine two or more pictures. Some of them, characters are actually associated with the sound, like the phonetic alphabet that we use. So it is a combination. So there's the numbering system based on 10. You can see there is a 0, only it's a heck of a lot harder to write their 0 than ours. So you have a combination. You can kind of see that it works sort of like the Roman numerals, where you're adding numbers together to get the final total. All right, who founded the Zhou dynasty? Oh look, it's right down there in the purple box. When was the Shang dynasty founded? Okay, that's the green box. Which of these dynasties has not been proven to actually have existed? Yeah. So now we've discussed some of the geographical influence, we've looked at some of the characteristics, and we had a long list of the contributions of each civilization, in this case the early Chinese civilization. All right, bonus. I know, they keep piling up. No ed puzzle, but you will have vocabulary assignment for this particular section.